คลิปไปอย่างนี้ part of our Fine Arts Fair. This is always such a special, special time. As we call your name, do not come up until we say, could those students whose poems we just read come forward to receive a certificate and cash prize. The cash prize is part of the Linnie Fisher Robinson Poetry Award. This is Linnie Fisher Robinson. She helped many budding writers and poets in the Salt Lake Valley get a start in writing. I'd like to read one of her poems called The Poet. I am part of all the ages, crystalline opaque, breath of sagas, dust of sages, prophets as they spake. I am wind and song and fire beating at life's bars, half heaven and that part of earth that reaches past the stars. I am longing, insatiate, hungering for beauty. I am present, leaping forward, stumbling with duty, futile and impotent, reaching toward a life beyond man's ken, grasping, staggering, writing, only to be lost again. I, too, am the sweetness and the bitterness of flesh, drinking in a moment all the gods can press, made immortal for the voyage I shall die when I fling my song and laughter in the sky. So this is the woman that is has been providing you for many years with your awards. And we honor you. We have put together, and I would like you to give Mrs. Barlow a big round of applause. And Nathan Tyler. Let's give him a round. This is this year's anthology. On the front of it is Aaliyah's independent work of a beautiful butterfly, so colorful. And on the back is some lupins, hyacinths, and by Campbell Deering. And this poem, or this poetry book, is filled with gorgeous, gorgeous pictures. And you will receive your copy on Monday in your reading classes. And I hope it's called a soiree. It's what reading is called. Where you get to look through the book. If you look in the index, all your names are listed. And every student in the school has some literary work there and work for your art. And so you'll get to look through your own personal book and find a poem you'd like to read and share with your class on Monday morning during reading time. It shouldn't take long, but I do want you to make sure that you get to share your favorite poem. It was John F. Kennedy who said, "When power leads man towards arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of his existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. For art establishes the basic human truths which must serve as the touchstones of our judgment." And so today, as we call your name, we're going to be honoring some of you today because of the fine work, and everybody did such a wonderful job. It was wonderful to read these as Mrs. Barlow shared those with me. We'll first start with free verse. Free verse is poetry which is not written in regular rhythmical pattern or meter with lines of any length. A poem, or free verse, by Lewis Laird in kindergarten, Hooked on Candy Canes. I'm hooked on candy canes. I love the sweetness. I love the crunch. I love the stripes. I love to lick. Hooked. Charlotte Burke, first grade, My Family. My dad loves Star Wars. My mom loves to read. My brother loves Pokemon. One of my sisters loves books. One of my sisters loves sports. I love my family. And Henry Wayment, first grade. I love chess, and I listen for this, listen for this simile. I love chess. My favorite piece is the rook. It is like a moving castle. And this is a free verse written by Avery Chandler, a second grader, named Haiku. Haiku, bless you. No, I'm writing a poem. Short, sweet, to the point. Isn't that fun? And Von Zollinger, fourth grade, clay. Clay is fun, turning clay, shaping it into anything. Clay is feeling that shapes into emotion in the end. And our last one is by Anthony May, an 8th grader, Gray. Gray is a distant memory far back in the mind. Gray is a fog, a cloud. Gray is forgetfulness that shades a thought. Gray is distraction that leads off the path. Gray is a blanket that covers priorities. Gray lacks concentration, unable to focus. Gray is sloth, unable to budge. Gray lurks inside, but can be conquered. If these students would please come down and to receive your certificate and cash award and for a photograph.
Next, we're going to be reading 2 poems that are haiku, and Mrs. Tedioka wanted to let you know that she sent a lot of the, these 2 plus many more haiku from her class, those who wrote haiku, to Japan for is it a writing contest? Haiku museum, where their poems can be analyzed and presented. So haiku is a Japanese poetic form with only 17 syllables, distributed in 5, 7, and 5 syllables through 3 lines. Sunset by Forrest Young, a 6th grader. The brilliant sunset decorates the darkening sky, awakens the moon. And Spruce Trees by Ryan Chamberlain, 7th grade. Strong spruce trees quiver, although crisp needles hold strong in rough winter winds. Come down for your cash award and your certificate, please.
Lyric poetry is lively verse that expresses the observations and feelings of a single speaker. Our first award in the lyric poetry section is by Jordan McGowan, 3rd grade, Summer. The sun is shining in the sky, children wave as they run by. Kites are flying up above, summer is the time I love. The birds are singing, the air is ringing, happiness is here. It's my favorite time of year. The grass is green, it's a beautiful scene. The flowers smell sweet, what a wonderful treat. And Francesca West, 4th grade, Chocolate. Covered nuts, berries, and even crickets. Makes everything delicious. Ice cream, syrup, and Mexican mole. To dessert lovers, it's holy ole. Makes breakfast, pancakes, scrumptious, and pudding for lunch, delicious. Desserts after dinner are endless. Fudge, molten, and German cakes are tremendous. Fondue towers are great party fun. Frozen yogurt is refreshing in the sun. And reserved for special days are delightful chocolate souffles. Come on down and receive your certificate.
Narrative poetry. Narrative poetry is a story with characters, setting, conflict, and plot, all told in verse. Here's a narrative poem by Rachel Crockett, 8th grade, Grandpa. It was early in the morning one joyful day in May when Grandpa took me by surprise and had something to say. He called me over near to him, I sat upon his knee, and then my grandpa leaned in close and whispered this to me. I see you working extra hard and just wanted to say, if we're apart, remember that I'm proud of you each day. This hit me hard but made me smile and filled my heart with joy and truly made me happier than any girl or boy. And now, when faced with challenges, I say this by and by, my grandfather was proud of me and just for him, I'll try.
poetry is poetry in which each successive word in a line has more syllables than the one before it. We have one that we would like to honor today by Francesca West, a fourth grader, called Vacation. Sharks biting, fish fighting, crabs crawling, find seashells, palms swaying, sand squishing, seas sparkling, waves crashing, sun setting, beach party, punch sipping, go dancing, fun swimming, sun burning. Start packing, wave goodbye. Come on down.
Next is Shakespearean sonnet. Shakespearean sonnet is the form of sonnet used by Shakespeare, composed of 3 quatrains and a terminal couplet in iambic pentameter, with the rhyme pattern AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG, also called the Elizabethan sonnet or English sonnet. Here's a Shakespearean sonnet written by Alexis Chandler, 2nd grade, Being a Twin. Being a twin is often pretty fun. I have a wonderful built-in best friend. We laugh and dance and play in the hot sun. I will love her until the very end. Wherever we go, people stop and stare. They always ask us, "Are you 2 twins?" There's nothing we don't share, even underwear. We cheer each other on to bigger wins, and I wonder what it's like to be just one, to have to go to school separate, alone. When we are apart, I miss her a ton, because being a twin is all I've known. The bond that my twin sister and I share, that is by no means lost, but is most rare. The next Shakespearean sonnet is by, we've got 3 that win in this category, so just wait just a second. Fish, by Ruby James, a 2nd grader. There are many types of fish in the sea. Fish come in different colors and shapes, and some are weird and just as big as me. They swim in groups like a cluster of grapes. The barracuda likes bright, shiny things. Piranha will eat anything that moves. The flying fish jumps away with its wings. Butterfly fish find food in coral grooves. The sunfish has just a head and a tail. The spook fish lives deep down and are see-through. Seahorse babies are carried by the male, and cone-toothed blennies can walk on land too. You can see there are many strange fishes. To count them all is one of my wishes. And A Thought by Rachel Crockett, 8th grade. Deep down below the surface, lurking still, a thought escapes my grasping, tired hands. Like fleeting water dashing from a spill, or slipping grains of sifting beachside sands. A thought, long sought and followed to no end, yet lucky as a thought can ever be, still hiding and escaping round the bend, where all things are forgotten easily. Till like a strike of lightning, crisp and clear, inspired wisdom flows into my head, and swiftly showing up it does appear, with glowing light of knowledge now to shed. A thought that sounds a long-tried mystery, or simply clicks a sentence perfectly. Okay, those 2 can come down.
Waka is a Japanese poetic form in which 31 syllables distributed 5-7-5-7-7 through 5 lines. This is by Jane Hawes, 8th grade. Leaves. The wind brushes by, bringing dancing leaves with it, swirling through the air. They play Follow the Leader, telling their unique story. And she is not here today, so we will present that to her on Monday.
Poetry with different kinds of stanzas. A couplet is a poem in which each stanza is 2 lines of verse, usually with the same meter and joined by rhyme that form a unit. Here's a couplet by Lachlan Wing, 3rd grade, Winter. A wolf is howling into the night underneath a shimmering moonlight. ice shards fall, snowflakes shimmer, when light grows slowly dimmer and dimmer.
A tercet is a poem in which each stanza has 3 lines of verse, usually with the same meter and joined by rhyme that form a unit. This is by Beau Clifford, a 4th grader. Sun and moon. Where does the sun go when it sets? Is it captured by gossamer nets? Or does it sink in the deep dark seas? Where does the moon go in the morning? Does it sail away without warning? Or does it shrink like a deflated balloon? And then Rachel Crockett, 8th grade, beach. The gentle water ebbs and flows and sifts the golden specks of sand that mimic waves between my toes. Swift seagulls peck the fish below, and sand crabs scuttle back and forth along to where they need to go. Would those students please come down?
A cinquain has 5 lines. Simple cinquain has 5 lines with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 word or words per line. Here is Dreams by Lachlan Wayment. 3rd grade. Dreams, unusual places. Anything is possible in the place of dreams. And Black by Elizabeth Burke, 7th grade. Black, howling winds, raging dark seas, mist obscuring my vision, storm. If you two people will come down. Regulated cinquain also has 5 lines with 1 word subject, 2 words description, 3 words action, 4 words feeding about the subject, and 1 word summarizing the subject again. Here is a poem by Rachel Crockett, 8th grade, Anger. Anger, fiery red, ignoring all sense, a dangerous, rough emotion, poison. Okay, Rachel, can you come on down?
Metaphor is figurative language used in literature, in which a word or phrase literally denotes one kind of object or idea, and is used in place of another to suggest a likeness or an analogy between them, such as drowning in money. This is from Henry Wayment, 1st grade, Cold Skeleton. I'm a skeleton, my bones shiver in the wind. This is Eli McGowan, 4th grade, Gray. Gray is campfire smoke or a gray rainy day. Gray is a rock and an old man's walk. Gray is like a cauldron of a mean old witch. Gray like a very deep, dark ditch. Gray is a dark winter's night with no moon. It gives me a fright and nightmares at noon. Would these students please come down?
Onomatopoeia is figurative language in which words imitate sounds. Writers can deliberately choose words that contribute to a desired sound effect. Here is Beach Sounds by Cannon Green, kindergarten. I walked into the water from the beach, splish, splash. I heard the shh of the ocean in a seashell. Go on down.
Personification attributes human characteristics to something that is non-human, or it may represent an abstract quality of human form. Margot Zollinger, 7th grader, wrote The Beach. A glimpse of amber shined on the sapphire waves.
The wind's hand brushed through my sleek hair. The air smelled briny. The sea foam was a brilliant blonde. My feet sank in the sand. The water was frigid as it splashed my legs. Seashells littered the beach. Coral pieces stood up in the wind. What a day on the beach. Okay, and so in our last one in that category is Anthony May, an 8th grader. Purple. Purple is strong with a serious voice. Quick to think, can make a wise choice. Purple is independent. Purple takes good care of anything from anywhere. Purple is a leader with powerful resolve. When through hardships, even through hardships, it will not dissolve. Purple is composed. Purple stands taller through any troubles. Purple will not falter. Please come down and receive your certificate.
Alliteration uses sounds as a way of reinforcing meaning in poetry. It is a repetition of initial consonant sounds in words. The Monkey by Ruby James, 2nd grade. The monkey made mischief around the museum. The snake slithered slowly out to go see him. Laughing lazily, lion lounged nearby. Then a happy hippo hopped by to say hi. Here's Boat Race by Eli McGowan, 4th grade. Bob and Billy boasted and bragged. They thought their beige boat was the best, but it lagged. They bolted across the big blue sea, but Betty and Bonnie were fast as could be. Then Betty and Bonnie boasted and bragged. They believed they had the race in the bag. But back from behind was a baby blue boat that everyone believed could barely float. Barbara and Benjamin bedazzled the crowd. The baby blue boat had everyone wowed. Barbara and Benjamin won the big prize. They didn't boast or brag because they were wise. And then two poets, several writers wrote about a letter. They used a letter for their poem. This one is The Letter G by Ryan Chamberlain, 7th grade. The letter G is great. Without it, nothing would be good, and nothing would be great. Everything would fall apart without the letter G. We would all float without gravity, and things that are glued would collapse into pieces. Games would be gone. Our galaxy would vanish. You couldn't inherit genes. Jams would disappear. Wars would be a jumbled mess without generals to lead. Greece and Germany would be taken from the map, and the good green grass would be replaced with ground. Then the ground would be gone. We really don't realize we would vanish without the letter G. Now here's the letter L by Anthony May, 8th grade. Without the letter L, we cannot write letters or tie our shoes without a lace. Brands would not have labels and make large profits. There'd be no lackeys to carry luggage. There'd be no legends for those to tell. There'd be no lenses in people's glasses. Lava would not exist in the largest of volcanoes. Leaves wouldn't be there to dress the trees if the letter L did not exist. Along with the things that go with it, life would be lamentable and truly lack a lot.
Won't it be delightful to read these and other poems on Monday when you receive your anthology and your reading classes? It will be a fun, fun morning. Our last section is rhyming poetry. Rhyming poetry has 1, 2, or more words that correspond in sounds. Oftentimes it is a combination of assonance and consonants. Canon Green, a kindergartner, wrote, "The candle, the fire on the candle dancing on the wax. It smells like cookies baking and other yummy snacks." Baby Blue by Francesca West, a 4th grader. The color of baby blue can be found on a cockatoo. It can also be part of a tutu. Shampoo or mildew, toilet tissue, and certain fondue. Some animals at the zoo, the morning hue, and fire in a barbecue. Depending on the point of view, this color can be see-through. Skin can turn blue after a stomach flu. Not to misconstrue. after a visit from the Internal Revenue. And Anthony A. Black, an 8th grader. Black is misjudged, misunderstood, hiding away under a hood. Black is kind and caring. Deep inside, Black will reach out a hand and confide. Black is comforting, whispering words of hope. Black is a caring friend, helping you to cope. Could these students please come down? You are wonderful budding artists and writers, and I think Lenny Fisher Robinson would be thrilled to read this book. Thank you. We now are turning the time over to our Fine Arts Best of Show part of this program.
There are some wonderful artists in this school. Matter of fact, it was very, very difficult for the judges to decide, but they came to consensus on this particular picture. So we'd like to have Ivy Billiter come forward. Stand right here, Ivy. Thank you. And you have some guests here. I'd like to read what the judges said about this. It says, this student has completed a beautiful portrait of a bass. The colorful fish is a wonderful rendering and proportionally correct. It is universally the same light, undertone color throughout the painting, with the dark aspect put on top of the light. There are beautiful subtleties and nuances, starting with a good drawing and then a nice painting technique, and attention to detail over the top. Great work for a young artist. Congratulations.